You're given $1,000 cash every day, but any time you need to poop, you have to use a public restroom. Are you taking the $1,000? Why or why not? Is it optional each day, or do I have to keep the streak alive? I'd do it either way. I'm sure I could come up with a system to make this less painful. Hell yes, I'll take that deal. In fact, you can make it a glass public restroom and y'all can come. Watch. Besides, if it can be any public restroom, I know a few stores that have some really clean ones. Not to mention, because of healthy issues, I only poop 2 or so times a week, so let's do this. Yes. Because my job is now shitting in public restrooms and I am incredibly well paid, so I am going to do it well. I'm not gonna lie, actually shitting in a public restroom is fine. What's deterring me is having to drive somewhere every time I have to take a shit. I'd probably still do it. I'd poop in front of a live studio audience for $1,000 a day. On $365,000 a year, I'm pretty sure the public restrooms I'll be using will be very nice. Or I'll just walk into expensive hotel lobbies. Everybody hates me until they need me. What professions are examples of this? When I was a janitor, I got a lot of hate for knocking out my 8-hour day in 4 individual hour-long chunks of effort. I was always available for spills and got extra work done every day, but spent another 4 hours basically chilling, and management not once got on my case. The other employees despised this until a customer's colostomy bag somehow ruptured in the bathroom. From that day forward, none of them gave a fuck if I was just hanging out on my phone. The U.S. Coast Guard for fishermen and boaters. Usually there's a pretty good working relationship between them. But some hate the Coast Guard for the various inspections they do. But the USCG is also the ones who will come out there in a storm to rescue them. Plastic surgeons. My uncle is a plastic surgeon and he does only reconstructive stuff. Fixing burn victims' faces and stuff like that. But when people ask him what kind of doctor he is and he says plastic surgeon, they usually kinda scoff. Not the clown. Lawyer here. The expectation that because you are a lawyer you know everything about every law everywhere. In reality, most lawyers are highly specialized. Accounting. Guys, what's the most unattractive thing girls do that they think is attractive? Reddit consensus loudly says, fake anything. Hating on other girls because of their clothes. Try and look like Kim K or any influencer shit is like repellent for me. Hate on other girls that have nothing to do with them. I dated a girl who always had something nasty to say about any girl within eyesight. Got real old real quick. Edit. Wow. Very surprised by the upvotes. Thanks all. Women seem to do this thing where they act like not noticing me is hot, I guess. It's been 28 years. We can stop now. Those big allergic reaction lips. Should Weird Al Yankovic be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Why or why not? Yes. He's the best. Well, not technically the best, but arguably the most famous accordion player in an extremely specific genre of music. And it is important to honor his memory after he was so tragically cut down in his prime. If you haven't seen the Weird biopic, you absolutely should. Criteria for induction according to the president of the R&R Hoff. Individuals can be inducted in 4 categories. Performer, early, influence, non-performer and side men. The only formal criteria for the performance category is that an artist has to have had their first record at least 25 years ago. That said, candidates are reviewed and discussed relative to their impact on this music that we broadly call rock and roll. The innovation and influence of these artists is also critical. Gold records, #1 hits, and million sellers are really not appropriate standards for evaluation. So I'd say that's a hard yes for Mr. Yankovic. If you would have told me in 1990 that by the time I had kids of my own Madonna would be a washed up has-been, Michael Jackson would be dead with his legacy mired in scandal, but Weird Al would still be filling stadiums and dropping gold albums every few years, I would have laughed until my skull caved in. And yet, here we are. Absolutely. He's a fantastic music maker and other artists consider it a bit of an honor to be asked if the weirdo can cover their song. The skill necessary for Weird Al and his band to do so many genres and styles that well ought to be worth something. Especially for that long. Yes. Yes, absolutely. He's been continuously culturally relevant since the early 80s. Reddit, what did y'all think of the Jesus commercials during the Super Bowl? The founder of Hobby Lobby funded it. Not sure how Jesus would feel about an LLC in his name, it was at the bottom of the screen. Why does God need a marketing agency? James T. Kirk. I don't think the reason people aren't into Christianity anymore is a lack of awareness in Jesus, so I'm not sure what the point was. WWJD? Not spend $1 million on a Super Bowl TV spot. I know a lot of Mexicans named Jesus. Pro-gun and anti-gun supporters of Reddit, what's something you'd like the other side to understand? Every gun everywhere is loaded and dangerous. No matter what. That gun you came across in your friend's garage? Loaded and ready to fire. The rifle you just watched your friend empty at the range? Loaded. That pistol you cleaned 2 weeks ago and stored without a magazine in the safe? It's loaded now. The revolver the nice man behind the counter at the gun store hands you? Definitely loaded. The shotgun you never store loaded and literally checked this morning. Sorry. It's loaded. Every gun you haven't personally checked prior to handling is loaded. And once you've checked, it's still best to keep the barrel pointed in a safe direction. Just in case. There's a non-zero chance that at some point in your life you'll make an assumption about a firearm that ends up being wrong. If you're always checking, the likelihood you'll have an accidental discharge drops. If you're always mindful of where the barrel is pointing, the likelihood a discharge will harm someone drops. Along with rights come responsibilities. Would like to see a lot more Reddit posts like this, looking for input like this from both sides. It gives everyone something to think about and helps prevent the echo chamber effect. I've already leaned a few things and I've been following this topic for years. Pro-gun and gun owner here. Most of us believe in education and full responsibility for your weapons. I personally believe in making gun safety mandatory for all first-time owners. Way too many folks out there who act unbelievably stupid with them and don't understand how dangerous they can be, all while making the rest of us look bad. A good chunk of gun deaths are from suicide. That assault weapon bans rely heavily upon people uneducated with firearms. They also tend to be very poorly written and only end up revealing just how little people writing the legislation know about firearms. For example, this https imager.com/a/vcwzjl9 is considered a banned firearm in my home state of New York, ownership of which can get you 20 years in prison. Also, it sucks how much gun control organizations are largely under the thumb of a single billionaire, who also just so happens to be the richest man in New York. What are the worst names to give a pair of twins? GIF and GIF, but say them differently. Pete and Repet. The same spelling, but pronounced differently. I've seen it. Also, Honey and Hickory. When your last name is Ham. They weren't twins. But that's also a true story. Peaches and Kareem. Jose and Hoseby. Cain and Abel. In your opinion, what is America's biggest problem? Lack of critical thinking. Subscribe, my brothers.